What we'll do now is Lewis and I will both handle the dog around each other, and then we'll break off into groups. So you'll get the lesson of what we do, how we get two dogs around each other. You'll probably see some corrections, and then we'll turn it over to you guys. Right now, what we're going to talk about is engagement training, working with the dog, understanding the dog, and all that. That's the important part, right? So all Lewis is going to do is going to work the dog. He's going to use treats, he's going to use engagement, and all that stuff. Behavior assessments come in the afternoon. So just pay attention to what he's doing.
Yes. And a lot of times what we want to do is let the dog smell the area, smell the ground, get used to all the scents. Gives it a fair chance to focus on us. Here. Come here. Come here, girl. Come here, girl. Yes, yes, yes. And at the same time I'm doing this, I'm always observing behavior and trying to read the dog. You notice when I tug on her, I want to see her reaction to that. Is she turn around and growl? What I'm doing there, I'm just seeing her reaction to touch. So I kind of have a feel for the dog. So when we bring other dogs out, I won't know how she reacts to the other dogs till we get the other dog, but I'm getting a feel how she's going to react to me. Yes. Yes.
And you notice every time Lewis gives the dog somewhat of a correction, it's more of a guidance. And then the dog is rewarded when it looks back to him. So it starts to see, now it's building more focus towards him.
Little by little, she's watching me a little more now. Yes.
See?
And see how I have the leash when I do that? In case she jumps at my face, I can pull her away.
So once Lewis is kind of familiar with the dog, then he can start doing things like leash work and getting her to engage and stay with him. And when he does that, we'll bring a second dog out, and then I'll handle the second dog. And then from there, we'll start to have you guys break off with each dog individually, so that before lunch, every single person will have a dog on this field at one time.
And I want you guys to pay attention to subtle things. If you noticed, when I went and picked up the leash, I didn't go down there and put my face down there. I came and got the leash like this, and sometimes you'll just step on it. You want to keep yourself out of harm's way all the time, as much as possible. I mean, there'll be times when you'll have to do different things, but you don't always have to put yourself in harm's way. And the way I'm doing it, before we really start, and there's another dog here, to her, she's just getting affection. And at the same time, I'm finding out what she'll tolerate. Yes. Okay, so does everybody see the difference from when she came in to now? She's more focused on me. She wants to go where I go.
And that was less than 10 minutes of video. You know, less than 10 minutes of interaction. And it's a different dog now.
So she's much easier handled. When I got in here, she was trying to drag me along.
She's marking. She's peeing there, she's peeing there, she's peeing there. When that starts to happen, then the dog starts to say, this is my area, this is my area.
And that's a good indication she might try to dominate another dog. Because she's already saying, this is my stuff. Is she gonna do it right now? See how she's stalking that dog?
Friendly and everything.
Okay, good. Perfect. Oh, good girl. All right.
That's the one I took through the
Oh, with the agility? Okay, cool.
See, she's getting ready to go get that dog.
Nope. Good. 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 See? Good. Nope. Yes. Good. So before we ever introduce the dogs in this environment, I want to build engagement towards me. Right? Nope. And those are all self-corrections, right? I let the leash loose. Nope.
Is that a female? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yes. So since Lewis is working a dog that's a little harder to control, I'm going to keep an eye on my dog and let him do what he's got to do. Yes. Hey. Hey. Yes. What? And his training and my training, although completely independent of each other, work hand in hand. Nope. No. Hey.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little closer to that dog every time after she got some corrections. See how she's watching me? She's not tugging anymore.
Good.
And this is avoidance. She doesn't have to pee.
Hey. Boy. Good.
In that case it was, because she knew she was going to get a correction for going after it.
A little bit, I'm going to talk about that.
So she tries to distract. She's looking around, she's hoping I drop the ball, so to speak. Then she'll go do her thing.
Oh yeah, fine, but not really.
Good, good, good.
So she is a little
Good girl.
hypersensitive in her back end. I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's work on this part first. Hey, no. No, good. See, she wants to play, but she's transferring that play as to being aggression. See? So this is putting her and Lewis to a much bigger test. This dog's not neutral. This dog wants to play. That dog will trigger that play into aggression. 100%.
See, if that dog was neutral, this dog would be much easier to handle because
I know.
there's no defense.
Actually, this is better for what we want to do. So what Charlotte was saying, there's neutral dogs, but right now we're working on a training situation. So this dog is playfully reactive. I want her to learn to calm down around another dog. Hey.
Come here, sit.
Who is this dog triggering off of you? Okay. So see, this is an example where when one person builds a really solid relationship with a dog, like Charlotte has with this dog, all this dog wants to do is go to Charlotte.
I handled her 3 times.
You did too much.
What happens though, Charlotte, when they build a bond that fast, you have to recognize that and turn her over to somebody else.
Oh, I have.
And this dog, what I'm going to do now, I put her on the sit and I'm going to see it as this dog moves, what she'll do.
Good. And a really important point, what Lewis is talking about, he put his dog on a sit, right? So if the dog breaks, the dog's getting corrected for breaking the sit, not for going after the dog. So you're not going to transfer any aggression, which is a brilliant way to teach obedience. That dog's on a sit. Lewis said sit. If the dog gets up, she's getting faulted for not sitting, not for chasing the dog.
Correct.
So now I should be able to walk my dog by. No.
Sit.
Come on.
Sit.
Come on. Hey. Hey.
This is similar to sometimes we'll let a chicken go in the yard while we have our dog on a long sit.
Good.
Are you giving?
Sit. Good.
treat
Sit.
because she's sitting?
If she looks at me, I'll reassure her, but I'm not gonna go bring her a treat.
The other thing treats often do is they release the behavior. So while the dog's in the behavior, he's holding the behavior. If he gives it a treat, it's like, okay, you did it, here's your treat, it's over.
It's time, yeah. Now when he goes away, I'll say, oh, good, and I'll give her a treat.
See, now she's more focused to me. That dog's much more relaxed than we were before. So I should be able to get my dog here. Sit. Good. So these dogs were really reactive before, aggressively and playfully, and now they're sitting next to each other, right? And now in theory, I should be able to, no, right? Let's go. Good girl. Right?
Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. That's a good
In
girl.
theory, you should be able to. What would be the opposite? Like,
Well, see how he could reach over and feed mine and mine didn't get up and break? We couldn't have done that 3 minutes ago.
As long as the other person does the same behavior a couple times and the trainer shows exactly how the dog has learned this, yes. Yeah. So look, great behavior, right? So come here, hey. Hey. And what I'm saying with a dog that's so geared towards one person, the dog becomes so specific that now it's unfair to the dog because I have to give the dog corrections for doing what the dog has been taught naturally to do, which is pay attention to Charlotte.
Yes.
Right?
Good.
No.
See, just a minute ago, I don't know if you guys noticed, she wouldn't take a treat from me. She was too busy focused on that dog. Come on. See, she feels me moving,
No.
and she's moving.
And now I'm going to try to keep my leash just as loose, like Lewis has his.
Sit.
Hey,
Come here.
good.
Good girl. Good girl.
Good. Come on. Sit. And this is a lot more, so now we're increasing the stress factor, right? So we're putting a lot of movement. This dog is following me on a loose leash. This dog has to pay attention to Lewis.
I'm gonna.
Right? No. Good.
I get stronger with her, so she doesn't lose focus.
And what you really want to watch on Lewis's correction is the exact timing. They're exactly perfectly timed to the negative behavior, shaping it to positive, always bringing the dog back to winning. Good. Sit. No. Hey, sit. Good.
Sit.
That marking and sniffing is great, right?
Yeah. Let's see, now the dogs are more focused. Yep. Good.
She'll eat. I like that because if she'll take a treat, she's not.
And there will be times where people say, oh, the dog's in avoidance, the dog's not taking treats. Don't stop. Calm the dog back down, get the dog back out. Go back and forth so the dog learns to succeed. Training and counter conditioning is about teaching dogs to win. It's not about teaching dogs to fail. No. Good. So see, I can shut her play drive off. Here, sit, sit, sit. Good. This is the closest these dogs have been. And this is where I would end it.
Because they both did a good job.
Good. Down.
So you end on a good note. And you do a little more next time. Maybe I'd lay them right next to each other. Now this dog's gonna,
Down.
don't mistake in that you fixed her. She'll fight when you're not looking, but if she has a strong handler, she's manageable now. Come here, good girl.
Everybody get it?
Good girl, good girl, come on.
Right? And she's a really nice dog. She needs to just learn a lesson. Nobody's taught it to her. And sadly enough, this dog will be isolated the rest of her life if somebody isn't allowed to step in and teach her.
Twice.
Well, she'll be returned every time because nobody's going to go through and correct her and teach her what she needs. They're going to use clickers and treats and try to block that behavior without blocking it physically. You can't block a behavior without blocking it physically. You can need to physically say no, and the dog goes, oh yes, that's a no, that's a yes, right? That's what she's learned. So.
She'd go right a couple
yeah.
times. It wouldn't affect her. They'd get along good. They'd
Yeah.
be two good dogs in the yard. This is another female, so
Yeah.
we kind of really pushed the limits. We took her to the test because it's the same sex, and especially females, they tend to be bitchier.
And a high degree of play drive, which is going to trigger that aggression drive depending on her. So I think this is probably one of the best lessons you'll see in getting these behaviors neutral. She's still really hyper focused.
She's looking the other way. She wouldn't have took her eye off that dog we got here.
And I want to be clear on one thing. A lot of trainers will say this is escape avoidance. She's not looking towards the dog, right? But she's not.
No.
She's not trying to get away from the dog. She's clear that I'm not allowed to do something stupid, so I'm not going to promote a behavior or invoke a behavior that's going to make me do something stupid. She's totally happy. Lewis can get her back and train her and work with her and get her rubbing on her back and everything. All totally cool.
Come here.
She wasn't beaten down. See, she's happy. She's back to training.
Sit.
And at some point, both these dogs are going to flatline because they've been out here for about 20, 30 minutes. That's just,
Roll over a little bit. Good girl. Yes, sir.
what do you mean? She sees Lewis as being a very fair person. Lewis has her best interest at heart. He's guiding her, rewarding, guiding, rewarding, right? But this is positive, balanced training. Everything about this is positive. It's not positive only because we're correcting the dog so that we can get the dog to do a positive behavior. We're helping the dog, and I don't think you're going to see a better picture than what you're seeing today of two females getting along, one with aggression, one with play drive.
Good girl, yes.
Those two don't
Yes.
mix.